welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you guys. Listen, this is Anthony Clark with 3C Publishing, and I am here with the magnificent poetess Marketa
Good morning,
George.
Anthony. Thank you so much for having me today.
Good morning, Marketa. So, before we get started,
Mhm.
I have to first of all thank, I have to thank the source of all things, which is God, the highest power, for allowing us this opportunity, allowing me to be able to be a publisher now and three-time author. So, without further ado, I just want to make sure I thank God before we even get started because He's the one who orchestrated all of this. Um, but again, thank you for being
Absolutely.
here because we
Absolutely.
we we here to talk about faces and phases, y'all. Faces and phases, faces and phases by Marketa George. Hey, this is wow. Look at this,
It's an amazing cover.
faces and phases. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are
Mhm.
and how your journey as a poetess began?
Okay. All right. So, again, thank you so much for having me today.
All right.
There is no other place I would rather be than right here
Ooh,
with you talking
okay.
about this amazing project.
Wow, I love it. Y'all hear that?
So, I am Marketa George. I am adored by Source. I am a mother of three beautiful children, Montarius, Essence, and Marley. I'm a master educator in education now for 23 years. I am a CEO of my own private school, and now I can add the title of poetess to my accomplishments.
All
So
right.
that's who I am, Anthony.
Okay, cool beans. So that is really, really awesome to hear that. So your journey as a poetess began when you were a little girl. Like, where did it start?
So, Anthony, when I was a little girl, I would hear rhythms in my head, and I would always find words to match the rhythms.
Wow.
And as a kid, I did not know much about literary works like poetry.
Mm.
However, I knew I had a knack for hearing a beat, placing a word on that beat, and creating.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so that's how
So,
it started.
so tell us, what do you enjoy most about writing the poetry?
Well, first, I have to tell you this whole thing came about as a challenge. And if you don't mind, I would like to tell the true story.
Okay. Hey, yeah, hey.
So I
Okay.
told you how much I love poetry and
Right.
writing poetry and
Right.
how I've done it since I could remember.
Mhm.
And I left it there. Months later, you came and said, "Okay, Marketa, well, where is your book?" And when you asked me, "Where is that book?" it planted a seed. And from that moment, I started putting all of my
Yeah.
reflections to paper,
Yeah.
and this was the result.
Ooh, look
Faces
at
and phases.
faces and phases. Hey, y'all, faces and phases. Make sure y'all go get y'all a copy now. Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million, Amazon. And the ebook is coming. I mean, the audio book is coming
Yes,
too.
yes, it's going to be so amazing.
Oh man, wow, it's interesting. So, when in writing poetry, like, what are some of the challenges that you've had when writing? If you even are challenged, you don't seem to be challenged.
So, Faces and Phases is all about the different stages in my life and the face that represented those stages.
Oh man, it was amazing when I heard the title, and as I started to put this project together, and I was like, wow, and you were explaining to me, I was just thinking about my faces and phases because I've had some phases and had some faces,
Mhm.
a little bit about that. Me coming from prison, I didn't even know that
Mhm.
I would be a publisher or
Mhm.
author.
Mhm.
So I thank you for trusting me with your work.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. I'm excited. Look, I gotta look at it again. Faces and phases.
Yes.
So what face? What's the face today?
Well, the face is one of smiles. The face is one of appreciation. Um, because for so long I held much of my experience and my reflection inside.
Got it. So what would you like for your audience, to take most from the book? Like, what do you want them to know?
Well, I want my audience to understand that in reflecting, you have an absolute right to think about your past and how your past has impacted your future.
Oh man, that is amazing because it's a great segue for me to say the reason why I love being a publisher
Mm-hmm.
and author,
Mm-hmm.
three-time author, thank God, is because it's narrative therapy for me.
Yeah.
And so the literary works that I've published, Broken, Bruised, and Confused, y'all make sure y'all go get a copy of that. Um, the 48 Laws of the Chain Gang, and another one that I don't have here, Beauty for Ashes. All of these projects are about healing
Yes.
and the journey that we went through.
Yes.
So when you said Faces and Phases, I
Yes.
was like, God, this alignment is amazing
Yes.
because you're talking about your journey in the different
Absolutely.
faces, and it opened up something for me as well.
So, Anthony, this book, Broken, Bruised, and Confused, this book not only challenged me, but it inspired me
Mm.
to sit down and really journey through my own story. And as a result of reading Broken, Bruised, and Confused, writing Faces and Phases was not a challenge at all because when my old friend bared it all, I was like, okay, now it's time. So thank you for authoring and publishing this literary work because it is inspirational to me.
Wow, thank you. And okay, so when she said my old friend, we go back what
30, 31,
31
31 years.
years. So when we met each other as teenagers, who would have knew
Yeah,
or ever known that we would be sitting on this couch,
absolutely.
talking about faces and phases, broken, bruised, and confused, and just impacting the world with
Yes.
literary pieces that are about healing
Yes.
and
Yes.
the journeys that we've been on.
Yes. Self love,
Oh,
acknowledgement,
oh man.
reflecting.
Oh man. Oh, woohoo. So why don't you share some advice for some aspiring authors? What advice would you give to your young, like what advice would you give to them?
Well, if you have a talent, a gift for writing, do not be afraid. Take it from your head and your heart and put it on paper. And then you can cultivate the type of literary work that you want it to be.
Mm.
You have to sit, you have to be intentional about who you are in order to inspire, motivate, and encourage others. So if you have a story, because we all do, so I take that back. We all have a story, there is no if. Take your story, put it in black and white, and allow Source to do what Source does to create the type of work that will inspire the masses.
Oh man, that's amazing. You are so well spoken.
Well, thank you.
Wow. Oh. But as an educator, you have okay. I just had to put that out there. So well spoken. But that's a poetess for you. So I would like to you would like to show the audience some stuff that you brought with us, right? Too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's show the audience what you brought for them today. Well, seems like we have a small glitch. However, well, I think we have it. Oh, wow. So tell us about that.
Well, in order for me to be considered as a poetess, I wanted to give homage to all of the amazing women that came before me. the women whose shoulders I stand on every single day.
Mm.
And so this is a glimpse of some of the shots from Faces and Phases, but also it is an opportunity for me to thank the poetess that came before me.
Ooh. And 3C Publishing proudly presents Faces and Phases, y'all. So I got one last question. What would you, I'm sorry, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Okay, excellent question. I would not give my younger self
Mm,
advice.
mm,
I would give my younger self appreciation.
mm,
So if I could speak to my younger self right now, if she was sitting right here,
mm-hmm.
I would simply say, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for
Wow.
being the rebel that you've always been.
Mm,
Thank you for defying the odds. Thank you for understanding. In order to be number one, you have to be odd.
mm.
Thank you for being you.
Wow. Hey, listen, y'all. That is amazing. I am so grateful to be the publisher of Faces and Phases. Y'all make sure y'all go and get it. Well, what's your favorite? What's your favorite piece on here?
Oh, that's hard. That's a hard question to answer. So I have, because Faces and Phases is my story,
Mm,
all of the pieces resonate with me.
mm-hmm.
However, one that stands out right now in this moment is a poem called If My Dress Could Talk.
Okay, okay, okay.
And that inspiration came from me wearing this special red dress. Ladies, it's amazing. And I wore this dress once each year.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a picture every time I wore it. I wasn't paying attention. It's just my favorite dress. However, when I went back and I reflected and I saw that I had worn this dress 3 different times in my life, and I was going through 3 different phases in my life,
Mm,
I decided to put all of those pictures together and say, oh my gosh, I remember the pain she felt.
wow,
And I remember her now starting to do the work.
wow.
And then now I see her and she is almost healing. So that's the poem that stands out for me.
Man, I look, listen, what a beautiful mind. I mean, I'm just sitting here like envisioning what she's saying, and oh man, it's amazing.
Thank you.
So, again, y'all, hey, Faces and Phases, that's what we're talking about today, along with the 48 Laws of the Chain Gang. Hey, and Broken, Bruised, and Confused, all of 3C Publishing's work. I thank God again for this special opportunity to be able to talk with you about your book as we release it. It's amazing. I know it's going to impact so many people around the world in a positive way. Ladies, go get it. I even got a poem in there. Hey, man, I think y'all might like
Yes.
it. I like it.
Two.
So, ooh,
Have two.
hey, so listen, do you have anything else you want to say before we end this conversation? It's just so good. I know keep going, but do you have anything else you want to say?
Just remember, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Anything you want, you can absolutely have.
All right. Well, hey, this is Anthony Clark and with 3C Publishing, and this has been a segment interviewing the magnificent Marketa. Hey, y'all, we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Woohoo!